Hello, welcome to the first stream. Really hope you guys can hear me. I hope the audio is playing back okay. Um, yeah, I just wanted to do a short little stream. I'm not gonna stream for too long, maybe like an hour or so. Um, just wanted to react to some videos. Show off some art that I'm working on. Um, time is it? It's like 9:40 where I am right now. Um, be sure to like the stream, share it around. I'm just gonna be reacting to some videos that I saw earlier today. Um, yeah, I hope you guys are. Hope you guys are doing good. It's very hot where I am right now. I'm in Texas right now. It's pretty hot. Um, Links for my socials are in the description if you guys want to follow. And yeah, let's react to some videos. I saw a video earlier today from Monte Sensei. Wanted to look at that. Um, just wanted to react to this video real quick. Really good video. I really liked it. Just want to watch it with you guys. Basically about let me bring it to the screen over here. Apparently, like it's about certain Japanese want to try to keep um, Japan, fully Japanese. Something I agree with. Let's watch this video and hear what you guys have to say about it. Wish I could fix this part right here. Try to get rid of it. Yeah, let's watch this video. Hope you guys can hear the audio okay. But yeah, let's watch this video.
What happened to respecting Japan culture?
Oh, you.
You're basically DBR.
This is Okinawa. This ain't Japan.
Oh, okay. So you don't.
Uh, okay, let's keep watching.
Respect it?
At this time in my life,
I am gonna pause like at some certain points to give my opinion at certain parts of it, but yeah, what you said was kind of stupid. But yeah.
Same Japan.
Oh, okay. So you don't respect it?
at this time in my life, I visited Japan twice now. The first trip I tagged along with my friend and his siblings for 8 days, while the second trip I was part of a language school program and stayed for a month. The first night of my first trip, me and my friend went exploring and went into a maid bar. Japanese women bartenders dressed in maid outfits. One of the best things I've ever seen. Felt straight out of an anime.
Oh my goodness, this place is off the hook.
The manager came to our table, was really nice and attentive, us standing out as foreigners, chatting it up with her, with Japanese men in suits looking like they just got off work, getting drunk, singing karaoke. It was a very fun night and introduction to Japan. I remember me and my friend getting lost in the subway, and every Japanese person was eager to help us find our way.
Japan is is on my bucket list. I do want to visit Japan at some point. Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and I have a friend that's living in the Philippines. He got married and he lives in the Philippines now. Childhood friend of mine. But yeah, I do want to visit this country like soon. Like I'm barely in my 20s now. I'm like about to be out of my 20s soon, but probably like in my early 30s, I do want to visit Japan. That is an experience that I do want to have. Japan and South Korea, very beautiful countries.
I remember a crippled woman who I didn't notice was crippled at first, walking on forearm crutches, made it her duty to guide us to the right platform, and she was absolutely pleased to do so with a smile. I thought, wow, Japan is awesome. No complaints on my first trip. Second trip, even better. I attended a language school that consisted of people from around the world. Italy, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, the UK, Paris, etc. Some of the coolest people I've ever met. Every night I was out
I do want to do that also. Like I need to figure out how to learn some Japanese. I know they have courses online. I do want to look into that. Because I do want to learn how to speak Japanese, especially if this is like, because for me, Japan, like, yeah, I have a love for it because, I'm an otaku, but there are other things that I love about Japan too. And I really want to learn Japanese. Um, just wanted to point that out there.
at least 2 or 3 in the morning at different bars hanging out with other Japanese locals, where bartenders, as soon as I walked in, knew my drink of choice. Jameson on the rocks. Plenty of details I could go into. Maybe I'll dedicate a live stream to it one day. But a few things in common I noticed from both trips. 1. Japan is extremely safe, like unbelievably safe.
I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, I'm not surprised that Japan's this safe because I forgot where I looked at it, but the Japanese police force is in the top 5 as the one of the best police forces in the world. No, none of the police forces in the U.S. are on that list. I can tell you that. But the Japanese, I believe they were number 2 from what I saw. They're either number 3 or number 2, but they are in the top 5 as one of the best police forces in the entire world. So it's no surprise that Japan is like one of the, especially like in Tokyo, it's one of the safest cities in the world. And usually you would expect like a major metropolitan city to have like the most crime, like like cities like New York, but surprisingly no. And it's also has to do with Japan's culture too. Like Japan, I wouldn't say it's very well. Yeah, it is very strict, but it's very different from how things are like here in the U.S. or like in the U.K. It's very different. Um, and I really commend them about it. Like they have very strict laws, very clean city. Like I seen videos. If you guys have time, you should like search up like how they like wash their trains. Like they literally take their time to like wash the trains. Like they'll have people clean the outside, people clean the insides, and they'll have inspectors like walk around, make sure everything's clean. Like it is no joke. Like this, like it is no joke. Like cleanliness is a top priority from what I noticed in Japan. But yeah, there's safety too. So I'm not surprised that it's one of the safest cities out there.
I mean that sincerely. Being able to walk around 3 in the morning without a care in the world is a foreign concept to me. I don't have to worry of someone trying to run up on me and rob me or catch a stray bullet from somewhere. I can leave my belongings like a laptop out in the open, let's say a restaurant, use the bathroom, and it's still there. The hotel I stayed at had umbrellas they allowed you to use whenever it rained with a sense of trust like, oh, of course you'll bring it back. There was this air of trust.
Also, like in Japan, like they have something for like it's just amazing how like people would say like Japan, like certain countries in Asia, they're like living in the future, but they're really just not. They just know how to allocate taxes in their money. Like they know how to they know how to handle their money. Like they have like these very like these very interesting like architectures for for like how they for like bicycle racks, things like that. They have things that can like clean umbrellas. They have things that can clean your phone, like bathroom. Like there's like a certain slot that if you like wash your hands, you could put your phone in there and it'll like remove all the bacteria on your phone. It's very, very they know how to handle their money. Unlike here. Like I think my whole life I've been living in this country. One thing I've been hearing is that the US is in debt. Um but yeah. Japanese, they know how to handle the Japanese government. They know how to handle their money.
I just wasn't used to. 2, it's an extremely efficient, functioning, and considerate culture. Something as little as the way you line up to board a train in 2 lines. There's civility and there's this overall understanding that something like that can help everyone's day move.
My sister went to Japan. I think it was last year, or the year before. I can't remember. I think it was last year. She went. She told me that she got me this Chainsaw Man statue too. She told me like when you take the trains, like you have to like stand like in a line. You can't like cut it in front of people and things like that. And she said when you're on the train too, you have to like, be like very quiet. It's like imagine you're like taking a test or something. You have to be like very quiet. You can't be. I mean, you can like talk. You just can't like you just can't be like ghetto. Like I don't know if you've ever taken the train like in New York. I never taken the train in New York before, but I seen videos. Um, I grew up in Boston, so like I seen like loud people on the train before. So it's a very unique culture. I'll say that. I feel like I honestly feel like a lot of people won't be able to adapt with Japan's culture. If I'm being honest, like just imagine like you bring up a stereotype. Imagine like the most ghettoest people from the hood taking a trip to Japan. Like it just it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work out well. I'll leave it at that. But I think this he talks about this like something like a little bit further in the video that I'm gonna chime in on too.
Move a bit more smoothly. It's like returning a shopping cart in its proper place after using it. It's something you don't have to do, but it's very considerate to society as a whole if you choose to. The 7-Elevens are clean, way ahead of us as far as technology. You don't have to worry about people robbing and looting the damn place. The way people cross the streets, people obey the signs. I rarely, if at all, seen anybody jaywalk. I could keep going and dedicate a whole video to how exceptional Japan is. I remember talking with a girl who said, with major cities comes inherent high crime. And I told her, no, Tokyo dispels that myth totally. Being the most populated city in the world, it has virtually no crime. So when I heard the famous voice actress named Megami Hayashibara, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, of Rei from Evangelion, explain in a blog post, basically saying Japan must preserve its culture, I thought, yes, I couldn't agree more. Neon Genesis Evangelion voice actor makes controversial comments on foreigners in Japan. Evangelion's biggest stars in hot water over a controversial attack on foreigners, calling tourists an invasive species. Now, before I get into how activist-minded these two articles are, I'll first dive into some of what she said, essentially pointing out how tourists are exploiting their culture, like IRL streamers acting fools for clicks, and how foreigners in many ways are being prioritized over actual citizens. If things continue like this, Japan's Japaneseness will disappear. Its manners, attitude, technology, food, and maybe even anime. Of course, these are all the things I cherish about Japan and I alluded to earlier, especially with anime facing this constant push from Western entities and activists to make their creativity politically correct and appeal to the global audience.
And that's why I always say, like, I'll always bring this up. Anime going mainstream is one of the biggest mistakes to ever happen. Because even back in the day, I did want anime to a point, like, get its recognition. But now it's to a point where it's just like, I mean, like, look at video games. I wouldn't say anime is as bad as video games, but it's getting there. Especially when you have people from Hollywood working with Japanese creators. Like for example, that new anime Lazarus, created by the director who worked on I think it was John Wick, and his team. Like the only thing you can tell about it that it's anime is just the animation. The story, the characters, it's just so hollow and flat. I don't even know the main characters of that series. Like I think I watched like how many episodes? I think I watched like 8 episodes, and yet I still don't even understand like what is the like what motivates these characters. Like what is their deep motivations? What is their background? And it's just so hollow. They did this before. I believe Ninja Kamui was a Western and Japanese collaboration also, but even that was like, even though the story was like, it was pretty plain and simple, it did have a lot going for it. I feel like what killed Ninja Kamui was the CGI animation, which what killed it. And I don't know why they went down that route. I actually heard they're doing another season. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, it's just like when you're trying to like they just try so hard to input like these Western views in our anime, like especially like with English dubs now. Like English dubs never used to be this bad in my personal opinion. Dubs now they're just so bad. Like they input all of these Twitter, TikTok words in there, and it's just like why is that dialogue in there? Like it's so out of place and makes no fucking sense. Like you'll hear words like mid, you'll hear words like mid, you'll hear words like what are the slangs that they fucking use? They use like just any TikTok or Twitter type of words you'll hear like they put in anime now, and it's just like, why is that dialogue in there? It just makes no sense. Like just a word like mid, like it makes no sense for that word to be in there. They use like cringe too. It's just like, especially for the type of series it is, it just makes no sense for that to be in there. And another thing too, like I feel like voice actors are just not trying anymore to like actually portray these characters. I feel like now they're just voice act to just to voice act. Like one of the worst dubs I've seen in a while now was Call of the Night. When I watched Call of the Night, I watched it in sub. You know, I usually when I watch anime, like when I love a series, I usually watch it both in sub then in dub. I watched it in sub. Amazing fucking series. I can't wait for season 2 to come out. Um, then I watched the fucking dub, and Jesus fucking Christ, that shit was so bad. Another thing too about these anime dubs, I feel like they're not auditioning people correctly. I feel like they just pick someone just to pick them, and they don't audition them to see if their voice could fit the role. Like and believe me, some of these voice actors, I'm just gonna be honest, they do not fit the role, and I think that's the reason why English dubs are getting worse by the day. Um, but yeah, I would say the last dub that I thought that was pretty good was Free Run. Free Run had a good dub, and Delicious and Dungeon, those two had they had pretty decent dubs. I would say the Free Run dub was probably a little bit better. I feel like they actually put in the heart and soul for that dub, in my opinion. Um, yeah, and Bleach is all right.
A move that would be immediately detrimental to anime. Of course, there are many people living in Japan who really love Japan. I have friends, some have become naturalized. Among them, there are some people who run private lodgings without manners, foreign tourists who don't know how to give in, and people who cut down bamboo in Kyoto.
Show me the P. I don't believe you. Nah, that's some hood shit, bro. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You can't bring people like this, especially into foreign countries. Like when you go to a foreign country, people need to understand that you cannot act the same way you would act like you're at home. You have to be on your best behavior because you gotta remember these foreign countries do not have the same laws as we do. There's certain shit you cannot do in other countries that you can do here, especially in Asian countries, because countries like Japan, South Korea, they do not play around. Like I'm pretty sure everyone heard of that streamer Jolly Somalia. Like that guy's about to go to prison, and I feel zero sympathy for that clown. Like if you've seen the videos of what this clown does, you will see why I have no sympathy for him. But it's shit like this where it's just like you really cannot bring certain people to certain places. And another thing too that just gets me upset about this is just like these are adults. You're an adult. Why are you acting like this? And when people see us acting like this, they're just gonna have a picture of what Americans are. Americans, black people. It's just like you're making us look bad. Like this is stupid. This is stupid behavior.
Bro, what? I can't take you nowhere. This is not our house. We have to respect the house. What happened to respecting Japan culture?
Bro, fuck you and fuck
You're
this.
basically DVR.
This is Okinawa. This ain't Japan.
Oh, okay. So you don't respect it?
And that's just one example of people disrespecting their land, from people treating their shrines like an exercise gym, treating Japanese citizens like zoo animals, and treating trains like...
Yeah, I've seen that one. Hold on. I've seen this. Where is that? I've seen this shit right here. If you hear meowing, that's my cat in the background. I've seen this shit right here. Like, yeah, like I don't know what the fuck this chick was doing. Like, this was in Kyoto. This was fucking retarded. I don't know why she did this. I think in Kyoto there's like actually some bans for like there's certain places where they don't want tourists anymore because of like people doing shit like this. Like I've seen videos of this. I've seen people hanging from the shrine gates, which is fucking disrespectful. Hanging from trees, cherry blossom trees. It's just like, why would you? It's just what gets me upset is that people travel to these places to do shit like this. Like, it's fucking insane.
And treating trains like theme parks.
Like, yeah, like this fucking clown right now. Like again, on Japanese transportation, like, dude, you have to be quiet. You have to be neat. Like, I don't even think you can have like loud conversations with a friend on when you're on Japanese transit. Like, even like I've seen videos of people doing shit like this on trains in New York, and even that I just find it to be really dumb. It's just like, why would you pick a place like this to do it? First of all, people who do this in New York is fucking disgusting. Like people who dance on the floor. Like New York is one of the most dirtiest cities in the world, and you're dancing on the floor on New York trains. And this guy comes here to do shit like this. Like I can obviously tell this guy's from New York from the way he's acting. I can automatically tell.
Some type of fun zone. No decorum, no etiquette, no consideration for the people.
Like a fucking clown. Like what is the point of this? Like, and I'm mad that obviously he has a cameraman. I'm mad that the camera guy co-signs this shit. Like, have some class, dude. This is fucking insane. I would not be surprised if Japan limits tourism in their country, or if they do just like some other countries. Do you need like a special visa to visit? I would not be surprised if they go down that route because this is just stupid at this point. Like this is really dumb. You're making it harder for tourists to go to certain places in these countries because you're doing dumb shit like this.
People around you. This is what she is referring to. Completely reasonable.
Like look at like why would you do this? Why would you do this? Like I swear people would do anything just to collect some views. This is just so stupid. Like I know like these Japanese people are just looking at this clown and they're just so confused on what's going on.
And full of common sense. If we don't have regulations, if we don't make them, it would be dangerous. It would be like Japanese crayfish being eaten by...
I like that. If you don't have regulations, it'll make, yep. I like that quote right there.
Invasive species in an instant. I'll get to that metaphor soon because like activists do, they have selective hearing, taking things out of context and bad faith, attributing things to you only to forward their own agenda. But everything she said is valid and true. If you want to preserve the culture that Japan has, you must be stringent, not allowing yourself to be exploited and taken advantage of by people outside who only see you as a means to an end, not a society to assimilate to or be grateful to visit or live in, but to milk everything out of. Being an actress of massive fame and popularity with fans across the globe, Haya Shibata should be more conducive to the idea of a globalized society. Instead, while discussing societal issues and political engagement in Japan, she voiced frustration at certain foreign tourists and international students regarding the matter of domestic students having to repay student loans while foreigners can get free financial aid. She lashed out, and this is her quote. Unconditional free aid for some foreign exchange students, but for Japanese students, it's scholarships which you have to pay back. So to put it plainly, it's debt. Now, what is wrong with this statement? That's a reasonable, fair take. It's a backward-ass approach that a society must prioritize foreigners over their actual citizens, people who have paid into the system their whole lives, but not...
What she's talking about right now is how the U.S. works in terms of this the illegal immigrants. That's what she's describing right now. Because they're prioritizing them over actual U.S. citizens. It's actually pretty funny.
not accruing the same benefits, but instead of anything, debt. Plus, it's completely disrespectful to expect her to be accommodating to the globalized society by sacrificing Japan's cultural norms and customs.
I agree. I agree with her what she says. But Hamad, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, I agree. Those of you who are joining, we're just reacting to a video from Monte Sensei, basically about how to preserve the Japanese culture, keeping Japan Japan. Just wanted to stream this video and give my opinions about it. Really good video. Um, but yeah, I agree. I agree with this point of what he said right here.
Idea that Japan must bend over backwards to the rest of the world because activist-minded people said so is ridiculous.
And this is the issue right here, bending over to yeah, exactly, but Mom, be respectful, exactly. Like this is the issue with anime right now, and why I say it was a mistake for otaku culture to be this mainstream. Like I don't know if everyone remembers that manga that came out from Jump Plus. What was it called? I forgot what was it called. It was about the one about the foreign aliens. I think it was called Drama Queen. I think that was called. Basically, I think people were upset because the main character in the manga was upset about the aliens, and I remember at the end, like I think she and her friend like decided to eat one of them, and I remember that whole chapter. Like I think they had to fucking censor some parts of it because they thought, oh, it was disrespectful to immigrants. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, people really need to, like, people really cannot separate fiction from reality. Like, it's just absolutely insane to me, and this is why anime in general, like we see what's happening with gaming right now, and right now they're trying to course correct. Some of these companies are trying to course correct. You know, like we've seen it with Ubisoft with the men's mental health month shit, which I'm still surprised by. But yeah, like I don't know where anime is going to be in the next 5 years. I'm just really scared for it because yeah, a lot of people who literally do not like this stuff, putting their opinions in there and trying to like censor the stuff we love, or change things just because it doesn't it offends them or offends a certain minority group, and it's insane to me.
When you're in somebody's home, you adapt to them. I know in the West, we've adopted this arrogant, spoiled brat mentality of give me what I want and give it to me now.
The meatloaf! We want it now!
But just because we're destroying ourselves doesn't mean Japan has to join us in doing so. Shouldn't Japan's taxes first and foremost be for the people who paid them, which of course including tax-paying foreign residents in Japan? Is it considered exclusionism to think that taxes should be used for Japan's disaster-stricken areas and for the students who are supporting Japan right now? If Japan becomes exhausted internally, we won't be able to offer omotenashi, oh I'm saying that right, hospitality anymore. Again, everything she said.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, exactly, Vermont. Like, it's just insane to me that these, like, there are little streamers who literally go out of their way just to go to these countries, just to do shit like this. And mind you, going to these countries are not cheap. Like, yeah, it's cheap, like, when you're there, but going there is not cheap. Like, I think from the U.S., just flying from the U.S. to Japan, to Asia in general, I think it's like, you're looking at close to $1,000 just to fly out there. If you're lucky, you can get a good ticket for like $700 to $800, but that's still a lot of money. So it's just insane to me that people literally fly out there just to do stupid shit like that. Like again, Johnny Somali, I have no sympathy for that clown. This dude went to Japan and South Korea to act like a dumbass, and now he's stuck in South Korea and he's about to go to prison. And I really hope he does, because that will set an example for all of these other streamers that do shit like him.
Said is legit. I have no problem with this. And it says more about you if you find this common sense problematic. Now to the analogy she said earlier. It would be like the native Japanese crayfish were devoured in an instant by an invasive species. For example, it would become a world where unspoken rules like lining up to buy things are lost. She described misbehaving tourists in Japan and invoked the metaphor of invasive species. Many readers interpreted this as dehumanizing and equating foreigners with ecological threats. It's very telling when people get offended by such metaphors, saying things like, "What are you calling me, a house? But I'm a human, not a car. How dare you compare me to an animal or a child?" People having brain-dead reactions, almost having an inability to comprehend the metaphor at hand, and it's sadly becoming more widespread. The point being made is that if Japan doesn't put itself into action to preserve its culture, eventually foreigners will overrun and erode the cultural identity Japan has, stripping away the very reason people want to visit there in the first place. The reason I love Japan is because it's filled with Japanese people.
No, I feel like people will always want to visit Japan, not just people here from the West. I feel like people all over the world will still want to visit Japan. I feel like the issue would be is that people bending the knee over for foreigners, particularly for the for people here in the West, Americans. And I really hope it doesn't come to that. Like I said, we go to other countries to experience their culture. Why am I going to travel to a country just to experience the same exact culture as here? That's stupid. I don't want to do that. If that's the case, you might as well travel domestic. But I don't know if that. Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. If if certain people get into certain positions of power, it could happen, but I don't see it like happening like anytime soon. Especially with the officials they have in charge. Especially if it's like Japanese officials in charge, I don't see them doing shit like that because at the end of the day, they want to preserve their culture. So
having a shared culture that I truly admire. When I visit, I go out of my way to show respect in all regards, to help counter the overwhelming sense of entitlement that comes with tourists in the West. People like this journalist who say it's xenophobic and evil to have pride in your nation are attempting to socially condition you that it's wrong to want to preserve the customs of your own country. These journalists who are in disguised activists would love nothing other than to change your culture from within, guilt-tripping you to accept their ideals and belief system.
yeah, and see, and shit like that just pisses me off. The fact that these weirdo activists get so upset because they don't want to bend the knee and change their identity or their culture for you. It's just insane to me. Like they will literally call you everything. They'll call you a fascist, a racist, a transphobe. Like they'll call you all this shit just because you don't want to change something they don't like. And mind you, the people they speak for is for a very, very small minority. Like it's not even the whole audience. And that's what's insane to me. That's why Disney the past few years has been in the shitter because they've been bending the knee to a very small audience and not caring about the fans. That's why, Marvel, Star Wars is in this position it's in right now because they're just making slop for a very small minority group. And what's crazy to me, these people do not care. They will not spend a dime on this shit. They're literally just tweet about it or show like something in a post, but they will not support it. That's what gets me so upset about this shit. And then they'll just move on to the next thing. It's fucking insane to me.
And convince you it's somehow righteous and benevolent to drop yours. These people are like snakes and truly wicked in how they operate. Now, this voice actress, feeling some of that guilt, made some edits to her blog posts, but mainly kept the same sentiments in her points. Just cleaning it up a bit, which it already was, but careful not to offend those with baby ears.
I won't say it for little baby ears over there.
Now, I don't know if this video will ever reach this beautiful voice actress, but one thing you don't do is apologize to the mob. I know Japan is a very conflict-avoidant society, but their good nature will be taken advantage of because of
It's kind of already is, especially with I'll say this in terms of censorship, in terms of the material that's being released, especially in anime and manga, a lot of shit's being censored. That's just the beginning. Eventually, like I said, in terms of its culture, I highly doubt it'll change their culture. But in terms of like stuff being brought here to us in the West and other countries, it's going to be censored mainly for anime because of how mainstream anime is. Which I'll repeat as many times as I need to. Anime becoming mainstream is the biggest mistake of all time, and I stand by that. I'm not saying we should gatekeep anime, but I'm just saying I don't think it should be mainstream.
Apologies are like blood in the water to these types. The moment you concede even just a little bit, you will be devoured, just like the crayfish in your metaphor. Stand firm in what you believe, and you'll be surprised by the amount of people who will rally behind you and show their dying support. I promise you. But that's all I had for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And shout out to this voice actress again, Megumi Hayashi Ibata. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I didn't know.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the voice actors from the original Evangelion anime, who he was referencing. But yeah, a lot of good points from that video. I'll link the video somewhere. But yeah, that was from Monte Sensei. He made that video. I'll leave a link in the chat if anyone wants to check it out. Check out his channel. But yeah, really good video. Like I said before, if you travel to a different country, you have to be on your best behavior. You cannot act like a fucking dumbass. Like this fucking, hold on, like let me bring it. Let me look for that scene. Like this fucking like this stupid chick right here. Like this chick right here. Like I think they destroyed. I think they destroyed something. I think they were at a. I don't know if they were like at an Airbnb or like a hotel or something, but there was like a shrine or something, and she like destroyed it. And this is what I said. Like you can't bring certain people to certain places. Like you really cannot. Like it's just like shit like this is bound to happen. And then see like people like. So like this lady taking pictures like in Kyoto, and then this right here. Where is it? Yeah, like yeah, you can't do this in Japan. This is highly, highly disrespectful, very disrespectful. And the fact people are doing this, like, I'm pretty sure they have. I can't really say if they have signs or not, but like I'll say this: when you don't see anyone else doing it, obviously you shouldn't be doing it. And the fact that people like. Oh man, I really hope they don't turn Japan into a visa-only country to visit. I really hope they don't do that. Similar to like countries like Brazil. I really hope they don't do that. And then you have, and this is the worst. And then you have this clown. Like I've seen a lot of videos of people like this dancing on, like going to Japan and doing shit like this. Like, why would you do this? Like, you are a fucking clown. You are a fucking clown if you do shit like this. Like, fucking retarded behavior. But, yeah. Yeah. Yep, yeah. I like to read the comments. Japan for Japanese, yep. But, yeah, this is shit like this is what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Really good video. Check out Monte Sensei. He does some pretty good content. And there's this other video I wanted to look at from. There's another video I wanted to look at from Asmongold. I'm gonna have to go on his channel to look for it. I think it's about. Hold on. I think the video was about. What happened? Hold on. Why is it not loading? Oh, okay, there we go. Alright, I think the video was on... It was on a game. I think it was on... He really did it too... Yeah, right here. This video. I want to talk about this video. So, for those of you who don't know, there was a game that came out last year called Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Arguably the worst game to come out of of the year of 2024, especially coming from a studio that made that one of their previous game won Game of the Year years ago from the same IP. So, yeah, let's watch this.
So this is a new story. It came out today. So what we have now is we have a post-mortem. Now, post-mortems are what happened after something died. What happened and what died? Dragon Age died. So Jason Schreier, and this is the guy, Jason Schreier.
Damn, he is. Yeah, he always has so many windows open. I always notice that about him when I watch his video. Like, damn.
He writes this whole article inside the Dragon Age debacle that gutted EA's BioWare. What is it?
So the thing about EA, for those of you who know about the game Anthem that came out a few years ago, same studio, EA. Anthem was supposed to be something big. When it came out, that game died in like what, like a month, like a couple of weeks. It was just. It had a lot of hype behind it. I'll say that when it was first announced, there was a lot of hype behind that game, and I think Anthem was like the last major game that came from EA before they did Dragon Age, because Anthem was a failure for them. They lost a lot of money on it. So when they were working on Dragon Age, like this Dragon Age needed to be successful. This had to be like a slam dunk. And I remember when they first revealed the character creation videos, like when they showed that, like the game was literally dead on arrival. Like there was like they added like this thing where you can add like surgery scars if you like quote unquote transition your gender, pronouns. It was just like, and the characters just look like ugly. Like it just looked really bad. Like this is what you need. This is what people need to understand about when you're creating something, especially like when you're creating something like whether like it's in gaming or animation. You have to have good looking characters. If the characters are not good looking, no one is gonna give a shit about it. Especially like in gaming. Like look at Stellar Blade, and look at a game like what's a good example? Look at Eve from Stellar Blade. And look at I'm trying to think of like a female. The girl from the Horizon game or from the second game. Look at the difference. Like people love beautiful and attractive things. Like Eve is an attractive female. That girl from that Horizon game or in the second game, they made her look fucking ugly. And there's a reason why people love Stellar Blade. Like I haven't played Stellar Blade yet. I've seen some gameplay. I do plan on playing it. I'm gonna get it on Steam soon. But yeah, like people love appealing shit. Dragon Age, there was nothing appealing about it. I see videos. There was a fucking scene in this game where one of the characters mispronounced one of the characters, and she started doing push-ups as like an apology. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I kid you not. Like, I'm actually gonna play that scene after this video, but it was amazing to me that all that shit in that game was approved.
Let's move this shit down. BioWare studio. So he's writing this whole article explaining why Dragon Age was bad and everything. And I wanted to go back and see exactly where it came down to, what is actually people's response to the game. And this is a big issue. And so let's scroll down. We're going to find and see if there's any level of instance of this where he talks about why the game wasn't liked. And so have Grok summarized? No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something. When Dragon Age the Veilguard, this is the important part. When Dragon Age the Veilguard finally premiered on Halloween 2024 after many internal delays, some staff members thought there was a lot to like, including the game's new combat system, but players were less impressed and sales sputtered. The reactions of the fan base are mixed.
No. Nah. Oh man, nah. That mixed part, bro. You are being disingenuous right now. You know damn well reactions were not mixed. They were all. They majority of the reactions were bad. This guy said mixed. Get the fuck out of here. Even the part about them them thinking the players are gonna find this game appealing. Like I said, when they launched the video for the character customization, it was already a red flag. It was already a red flag. The mixed part is like, bro, like, nah, dude, you're reaching. Whoever wrote this, dude, you're reaching.
Put it gently. No, they were not mixed.
Exactly.
It was actually very one-dimensional.
Exactly.
Some, like myself, adore it for various reasons. Others feel utterly betrayed.
Okay, so whoever wrote this, they said they adore it. So obviously, this dude's a shield for BioWare and EA. So obviously, this is not going to be written in the this article is not going to be it's going to be pretty one-sided. This article, so.
Made for certain design choices. And so this is the big issue that Jason has, is that Jason Schreier does not even want, this is, like, I think Jason, like, it's embarrassing because I think Jason is he's a journalist and he's just pushing propaganda. Like, if you actually think that the reason why Dragon Age failed didn't have anything to do with that, like, type of woke and, like, fucking social messaging, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is they just don't want to concede that was the issue. This is why I always say this. In order to fix a problem, you have to acknowledge that there is a problem. And the fact they're not acknowledging the problem in the situation. Like, I personally never played Dragon Age before. I talked to my coworker about this. He said like the previous Dragon Age game, the one that won Game of the Year. He said Dragon Age was a pretty established IP, really good. And another thing that just didn't make sense about this game is like the dialogues they're using, like the they them's, like this gender fucking dialogue they're using, like in the context of this game takes place like in medieval times. It makes no fucking sense for this type of dialogue to be in that timeline. It just makes no fucking sense. Like it's very, very out of place. Very out of place.
You're totally fucking delusional if you think that didn't happen. And the only credibility that you give to this at all is one small paragraph that you don't even explain why people are mad about it. You don't even give any credibility to it. And the only time that you talk about it is in the context of somebody saying that it was wrong. That's ridiculous. And so the problem is that, and this is the issue, is that he said the game was a success in the first few days. He did. Let me see here. Jason.
It was?
Forbes, Dragon Age. I think I can probably fix this, right? Yeah. Jason Schreier, Dragon Age tweet. So this is what Jason Schreier said initially. He said, go woke or go top the charts, right? There's no way you genuinely like this turd.
I did remember seeing the Steam charts for this game. I forgot how much it peaked. I actually might have to search that up. How much did it peak? Maybe it's going to show it. I actually do want to look at that after.
You don't like the game very much, but I like seeing you chuds get dunked on. So Jason Schreier went and he actually tried to defend this game and try to make all the people that didn't like it look bad and look stupid. But it turns out that it doesn't matter because people didn't buy the game, and now he has to write an entire...
And this is the thing that gets me upset about stuff like this. When a game is genuinely bad, like when a game is not performing like good, or if it's just like bad in general, you have these shields, like these people who write for like these articles, these IGN people, like they come around and they will shield for this game, and they will literally shit in the face of gamers who talk bad about this game. And that's why, and it's one of the main reasons why gaming, especially in the West, is just in such a bad position because you have people who want slop like this to be in gaming, in the gaming space, and that's why gaming is in this position. That's why people are moving more towards indies and Eastern games because apparently the West can't. For the past couple of years, the West just cannot get any slam dunks. Like you have a few good games here and there, but majority of the games, the good games that came out in the past couple of years, has come from the East or from indie studios.
Post-mortem on why this game not only killed the franchise but killed basically the entire studio. And so he roached out, and this, by the way, he roached all the way out of Twitter completely. Like he's still not. Is he still on that Blue Sky shit? Let me see if he is. Or Jay.
I don't know why the fuck people use Blue Sky. Like just use Twitter. Like I don't get it. Just use Twitter or X, whatever they call it. Like I don't know why the fuck you move all the way over. Like there are some artists that I used to follow on Twitter, and they moved over to Blue Sky, and it just got me really upset. Really like this one artist I love to follow because he does some amazing work, and he moved over to Blue Sky. That shit got me so upset. The only way I can see his artwork is if I make a Blue Sky account, which I refuse to fucking do. Because it's just like, what's the point? Like, just use fucking Twitter. Like, I heard Blue Sky's dying out anyways, so. Yeah.
Jason Schreier, yeah, he got his shit locked down, and he's still on Blue Sky. And you go and follow him on Blue Sky, you see what's going on with this. This is not good, man. It is not good at all. I suspect that hearing the Dragon Age, Velgar, numerous development, a lot of Palins expressing empathy for the people in the trenches. And you got people talking about this without being hyperbolic. As a manager insisting on deadlines, it's like, yeah, you only got 2,000. This would be way more people talking about this and saying about this. And so you sitting there on your hug box, you're not doing yourself or anybody any favors. And so the reality is that a lot of people, despite all the BioWare higher-ups that he talked to, he intentionally missed the story. The game failed because it was defined in the minds of the audience by YouTubers making fun of the quests and the pronouns. This is the game that proved that approval from Asmongold matters more than approval for IGN. I don't even think it's about me, right? Like, I'm not even talking about me. Like, there's a lot of people that make, because this is...
There was an article I read a while back. It was saying that certain Western devs are afraid of like people like Asmon and Critical Drinker because of they have such a large online presence, which I kind of understand because they have such a huge following, and I personally think they both of them know what they're talking about in terms of like what people want in entertainment. I don't know why these companies should be afraid of them. If anything, they should be listening to them or working with them. That way they can deliver good products.
This is the reality. Why do people pushing this? No, these people want to ignore the elephant in the room. They ignore the elephant in the room. They say it's not there. It's not there. So Paul Tassi goes back. He tweets about this. He says, it's easy to push back on this, but when, quote, woke debates consume literally the entire marketing campaign, that it can, in fact, be damaging. It is. Like, if you think that it's not bad, when you have a trailer come out and most people think that it's garbage and it has a negative like-dislike ratio or an under 50% like-dislike ratio, you have a fucking problem. You have a major fucking problem. And these people can pretend like the elephant's not in the room, but at the end of the day, the game comes out and it fucking is. That he admitted to not even liking the game, yeah. And so yeah, what's it following a CEO agreed with you? Everybody did, right? And so and yes, Asmongold trashing something does actually matter now, like it or not. That is a sad state of affairs, isn't it? That must suck. Like, if I was them, I'd be fucking pissed, man. I'd be out of my goddamn fucking mind having to see that shit. And so, yeah, 100%. He has a lot of Blue Sky parts about this article. Look at it. It's insane. Well, yeah, no, the thing is, you got a problem for sure, especially because you had a solid foundation you built the shit on. Yeah, no, it was awful. And so anyway, I respond back to this, and I said this myself. And we're also reading our boy Skillup's review is particularly damaging. Written like HRs in the room was a line that was repeated throughout. Anytime there was a Veilguard discussion, Gene is 100% fucking right on this, like 300% right on this. And people like that line even transcended Veilguard. Like that line is how people define woke dialogue in general. Like that's been how it's happened all the time. And so what a good Paul also has done the same thing, and he probably wouldn't admit this. No, he would not admit this, but he knows it's true. You talk about the problems, and you act like the issues that these games have, and the social media dialogue isn't real. And you downplay it all the time whenever you write about these issues. And in doing so, you mislead the audience into making them believe that the attribution for why something happens isn't what it actually is. It just fundamentally is misleading, right? He did it with Marathon. He did do it with Marathon. And so, like, and I see him doing that all the time. And I said, well, I'm sure making videos is a rallying point. The reality is most people consume content that reinforces what they already believe. There are people who adamantly defend woke games, but nobody watches them because those ideas and viewpoints are inherently unpopular. And so he responded, I actually didn't even see this. This is the first time I'm reading this. The term influencer exists for a reason. The people like you or Rogan or whoever shape the views on topics and not just act like a mirror. On top of that, negative content will get 10x the attention as positive, which applies to the whole anti-woke industry and why it's so successful. That's not even really true. Now, the reason why this isn't true is that, like, I can come up with some examples. Like, let me come up with 3 examples right now. Let's look at Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Expedition 33. Okay, these are 3 really big popular games that came out recently. And every single video that was negative about those games was not popular at all. And people were inherently negative and they hated those videos and nobody cared. But all the videos glazing it, like, let me see here,
yeah, I've seen a couple of people play Expedition 33. I heard good things about it. Yeah, I haven't played it yet. I heard good things about that game.
33 best game. Like, if I just search this up, like, you got 2 million fucking views on this, and this is Game Ranks. People are massively fucking positive about this. People are talking about, we didn't talk about this. Everybody is positive about this fucking game. And so really, people do not consume content that is negative or positive. Maybe negativity bias exists to an extent, but a 10x is absolutely not the multiplier. The reality here is that people consume content that reinforces their existing biases. So if there's a game that comes out and everybody thinks it's good, then you make content about the game being good, and you're going to have everybody loving the content. If there's a game that comes out and it's bad, you make content about the game being bad. You make a video saying it's bad. Everybody's going to love the content. The reality is that people consume content based off of what is appealing to them and what they already believe.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
That's yep.
And like, you can see this, and like, again, I just gave 3 examples. Like, look at all the videos glazing Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Expedition 33. Compare that to the videos that are negative about those games. Is that a 10x ratio? Do the videos that are negative have 10 times the views? Absolutely they don't. Because this idea is not true. And the fact is that people like, and it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say what he's saying, but it's just simply not represented in data. That's it. It's just not. Actually, well made. Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy too. Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, not that you should. No, people are talking about this a lot. And I watched clips of Veilguard, thought they were cringe, so I didn't buy the game. Yeah, it's that simple. It's a good thing to offer perspective and not just push people to pursue confirmation bias all the time, Bucko. I guess this person thinks that I'm confirming confirmation bias. I'm observing a trend. I'm not telling people what to think. It's sad to think, but there's a lot of people that just don't know how to. And did you not bash the wokeness of Avowed and it died? If it's bad, it's bad. Yeah, I think so.
I remember when Avowed came out, when it was about to come out. I remember that tweet. I think it was a tweet. Saw a video about it, but basically they're like proud of like the pronouns they added, and I think they'll try to come at Elon. Like, it was a very, very stupid way to get your game out. Very dumb.
Well, like, for example, like, you can look at South of Midnight. Like, I thought that game was pretty decent. It was all right. And it didn't matter because people had already decided that they didn't like the game. So the point that I'm getting at is that with a lot of these games and everything is that you can't you can't say that negativity bias is super strong when every video about arc raiders is positive and they're super popular.
And that's what gets me. I actually want to talk about that. There was an IGN reviewer that made a terrible, terrible fucking review. And this is what I keep saying. Like, whenever there's something that is objectively good based on the entire community, there are these fucking weirdo journals that just come in and just like they just have to like nitpick and say why this game is so bad. Like the game is great. The game is, I wouldn't say it's like 100% great, but it's a good game, and I feel like it's gonna have a very strong fan base. It already has like a good fan base. It's gonna get even better. Like, and then you see him like, especially like when he did the review, he was showing the gameplay. Like this, like these people are not gamers. Like there was a scene with him in the room with an enemy player. This guy did not know the enemy player was in that fucking room. Like these guys are not gamers, and that's why it just gets me upset. Like how do these people get into these positions? Like it just makes no fucking sense to me.
Every video recently about Tarkov, like during that one like drama thing, was negative and it was popular. But like now they're more popular. The videos that are popular are the videos that reflect the viewpoints of the majority of people. Sorry. It just makes sense.
So you kind of cooked right there. Not gonna lie.
So I guys, not true. I mean, again, how many examples do I have to use? You can not true me all you want, but like I'm coming up with examples. People just keep coming up and saying this over and over. So that's really it.
Yeah, that was a good video. And there was one more video I want to talk about. This is actually fairly new. It's about a game that just released. This is a game that I actually wanted to get. Oh yeah, let me link this video from Asmongold. You guys should really follow Asmongold. Makes really good content. Highly recommend you guys follow him. I left the link in the chat. Let's take a look at this video. This is actually the next video I want to look at. This will be the last video that I react to. I want to look at this video. I started watching it a little bit earlier.
Mindseye has to be one of the worst one.
I was really like banked on getting this game. Like I was gonna wait like a week, and then I was gonna buy this game because I needed something like new to play. Because I haven't bought a new game in a while. I think the last game I bought was the Bleach game. I still haven't finished it, so I need to play that. But in terms of like a story-driven game, like I needed something. I heard this was from people. I heard this is from a dev that worked on Rockstar games. Like he worked on GTA 4. He basically helped made what GTA is today. So I was pretty excited when this was announced. But after seeing like the gameplay, after seeing like the videos and the leaks, this arguably might be one of the worst releases of this year as of 2025. But let's let this video play.
One of the most hilariously bad video game releases that I have ever seen. We're talking about a game that was entirely sold off of the prestige of their former employer. 450 developers. They promised the world.
I didn't even know they had that many developers. That's a lot of developers. And I heard this game was in development for like 8 years. So ever since like 2018, 2017, this game's been in development. And it just flopped really hard, like really hard.
Only to deliver absolute garbage for $60. $30 extra if you guys want to get your hands on the deluxe pass. Might not want to miss out on that. Mindseye is just bad. Conceptually, there are actually some really cool things here, but everything put in motion makes this game feel like it's an early access version or an alpha version of a game, but that is not how this game is being sold as. Even though they essentially have an early access roadmap. You can't make this up. Look, I can tell that a few people worked really hard on this game. Genuinely, I can. But those are rare moments, flashes in the pan, in a series of red flags that are leading directly to this studio's closure in the next couple of months, if not weeks, to be honest with you. I mean, we don't normally see it.
Yeah, I can actually see this, because this is literally like, I think this is the studio's first debut game. And yeah, this is probably gonna close the studio. I don't think they're gonna make their money back. Like, they have a roadmap and everything. I think the roadmap is gonna get canceled. I don't know if they're gonna get their money back. I think they spent like 300 mil on this game. I have to look at the sales. On the Steam charts, like, it is really bad. Like, on the Steam charts, it shows like it's really bad. Like, it got review bombed by actual players, not by critics. I don't think the critics even reviewed the game, because there's no critic reviews for this game at all. So it's really bad for it.
A game that withholds video game reviews, shows the players absolutely nothing up until about 2 weeks before the game's launch, only to have their executives quit days before the game comes out. So today, I'm going to break down the hilariously chaotic development and release of Mindseye. I'm going to talk about my experience playing the game, and why from now on, anytime we ever hear of a game that's being made by insert your favorite game developers here, I'd run. I knew absolutely nothing about Mindseye until just a few weeks ago. Then I found out that it was a game being made by a 450-person studio founded back in 2017, led by Leslie Benzies, the former president of Rockstar North, and I thought, well, that's odd that I haven't heard anything about this. A Grand Theft Auto competitor supposedly in development for years, and yet I'd never seen a trailer, a reveal, or even a headline. I only came across it.
Yeah, there was no trailers or anything for this game. I think the first trailer we got was from the PlayStation Showcase last year. That was like the first initial trailer we got. We didn't get no announcements, nothing. Like, there was no headlines or anything. So yeah, I was very surprised that, because especially for a game that's been in development for like 8 years, you expect at least like some sort of announcement, like somewhere. Like, they usually like when a game's about to come out, they usually like try to announce it like maybe like 2 to 3 years before release, 2 years minimum. But there was no announcement for this shit, no marketing whatsoever.
Because of some reporting that the game's co-CEO and lead developer had gone into their community Discord to claim that Mindseye was being targeted, that content creators and bots were mass disliking the trailer and trying to poison the conversation around the game, and suggesting that someone was paying to sabotage it before launch. George Foster of The Gamer wrote about it in an article titled, "A Concerted Effort to Trash the Game. Mindseye lead thinks negative reception is coming from paid bots, seemingly blames Rockstar." They say Mindseye has been on a bit of a weird road ever since it was first announced, and it really wasn't helped by the lack of gameplay and information so close to release. Build a Rocket Boy tried to fix this recently with some previews from content creators and a new overview trailer, but the response hasn't been all that positive. Most of the recent showcases of Mindseye have been met with calls for it to be delayed due to bugs, or filled with comments from people saying it looks off somehow. While it could just be because people aren't gelling with what they've seen so far, Build a Rocket Boy's co-CEO, Mark Gerhard, seems to think that the negative feedback is being paid for. As reported by Eurogamer, Gerhard took to Mindseye's Discord server to respond to a comment asking if...
After the release of this game, highly doubt that's the case now, because after seeing the gameplay of this game, I think this guy was just choking at the last minute. I think the final product was just really bad, that he had to come up with an excuse.
If he believed that all of the people who negatively reacted were financed by someone, which he agreed by saying 100%. After being called out for this, Gerhard said, "Not wild when it's true." To make matters even more interesting, Gerhard later said that it doesn't take much to guess who, which seems to be aimed at Rockstar and Take-Two, considering Mindseye is clearly gunning for a similar vibe to GTA and comes from a former lead on the series. That seems to be what Gerhard is hinting at, although he didn't confirm it in the Discord. It is unlikely to say exactly who he means. I'm just going to say it how it is. They made a bad trailer for a bad game. That's it. Not a conspiracy, not sabotage. They were just trying to skirt accountability as quickly as they possibly can. You put out a product that was so mid it couldn't even survive a YouTube comment section. There is no world in which Rockstar is behind this. If they actually wanted to bury Mindseye, you'd see a lot more than a few thousand dislikes on a YouTube trailer. We're talking about one of the richest, most influential studios on the planet. 3,000 dislikes, some shitty comments, and a couple of content creators that are unimpressed. If they were coming after you, you wouldn't be able to blame it on a bad comment section. The reality is, Mindseye was being criticized because nobody knew what the hell it was, and it screamed scam. That trailer was as weird as it gets. A shiny cinematic city, a weird monotone voiceover that sounded like it was AI generated, boring gameplay clips to lines like, "You have expert skills," as the character literally just stands in the middle of the road getting shot. Nothing about it inspired confidence, and somehow, things only got worse from here. Just 5 days after headlines started circulating about the co-CEO accusing critics of being paid off or being paid actors, both the studio's chief legal officer and chief financial officer quit. Less than a week before launch. That is not a reshuffle, that is a lifeboat moment. That is people that are in charge of legal and financial liability saying, no thanks, we're good, and stepping off the ship before it hits.
Damn. That is not good. If the fact that they left before launch, yeah, studio might be KO'd at that point. Cause, damn, hold on, let's hold on, let's keep playing this. Hold on.
The iceberg, and looking at how that game launched, yeah, I can see why. Mindseye debuted to just over 3,000 players on Steam with a 41% rating. It's like these.
Yeah, like the rating was really low, but hold on, let's look at the Steam numbers.
Mindseye debuted to just over 3,000.
Damn, that is really bad. Shit, this is worse than Dragon Age, because Dragon Age, I think it peaked at like at what, 70, 80,000 players. This is really bad. And the thing about this game, there's no like woke propaganda bullshit in this game. It's just like, it's merely because of like the game itself, like the gameplay. Like there's stuff in the game. Like I've seen videos like, let's say if you aim a gun at someone, they act like very weird. There's really off animation scenes, like very cringe dialogue. It's just really bad.
And players on Steam with a 41% rating. It's like these guys are trying to compete with Concord. Social media has been flooded with clips of bugs, glitches, and complaints. It is so...
Is this worse than Concord? In terms of numbers? That's something I'm curious to know. I'll have to look at Concord's numbers.
Bad that Dark Viper, who covers GTA, ended up laughing during his sponsored segment while trying to tell people where to buy the game. Carnage had his entire sponsorship pulled before he could even make it to the main menu of the game.
Damn.
What? Okay, the sponsor just paused the sponsored stream.
Damn.
So, first time that's happened.
Yeah,
it honestly feels like Mindseye entire marketing push or their marketing campaign was just canceled last minute just to stop the bleeding and avoid any further embarrassment. Though embarrassed isn't really the word that I would use. Exposed feels more accurate because I took the time to sit down and play Mindseye, and at first I actually didn't understand what all the complaints are about. Sure, the gameplay was simple, but I wasn't hitting any major bugs. The performance seemed relatively fine. It was pretty stable for the most part, and the voice acting was honestly solid, like genuinely great work for such terrible writing. But for the first hour, I just kind of thought to myself, okay, maybe people are overreacting. Then it struck me. The first 2 hours of this game are basically cutscenes. You are either watching characters talk or you are driving from one place to another. Sometimes you're just following another car, and it feels intentional, like they purposely front-loaded the entire experience to delay you from hitting the broken parts. That earlier section in the game is the most polished part of the entire game. The voice work is good, the driving feels smooth, the cutscenes look relatively clean, but the actual gameplay, completely non-existent. It wasn't until almost hour 2 that I was like, bro, wait a minute. when am I actually going to play this game? Instead, you get these drawn out car chases, missions where you have to place bots on a map and then just watch them do their thing. All of this endless busy work that barely even qualifies as interaction. The longer you play, the more it starts to unravel. The cracks stop being cracks and start being the entire foundation. You hit this one chase sequence in the game, maybe an hour or an hour and a half in, and you pull out the submachine gun that you just recently used, and for whatever reason now, it has infinite ammo. The bullet effects that are coming out of it are just looping the same low-res streaking animation that looks like it was ripped out of a decade-old tech demo. The AI in this game is just god-awful. Enemies will just stand still and fire at nothing or just ignore you entirely. Civilians will do nothing at all, or sometimes they'll just trigger the exact same animation and all just start sprinting directly at you like a horror movie. I honestly couldn't bring myself to play any more of it, but everything that I have seen past then only gets worse. Scripted events where enemies will just die even if you don't even shoot at them, hallways filled with hundreds of pre-rendered enemies, and more. This game isn't just bad, it's unfinished. The more that I played, the more it reminded me.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe this game. It's just not finished. I feel like they released this game too early. Even though they had fucking 8 years to work on this shit. It just looks unfinished. That's the best way I can describe it.
Day before more than GTA or anything even close to a polished full release, but that's exactly what they're selling it as. $60 and $30 for a premium pass. You don't put out any review copies, no gameplay. In my opinion, that's not mismanagement. It feels like these guys have been deliberately trying to avoid anyone knowing about what this game was. I mean, 4 days before this game launched, when players still hadn't known anything about how this game played, they uploaded a video on their YouTube channel titled Quality Assurance with Leslie Benzies. I'm not kidding you guys. A game that breaks down in the first hour where nothing feels finished, and they made it.
Yeah, those videos of like, I think on PlayStation, a lot of people, it was crashing a lot on PlayStation. Damn, I really wanted to get this game because it looked interesting. I was interested to get it. But damn, I'm really happy. I'm really happy I didn't buy it on day one because I was thinking about getting it day one, but I told myself, let me just wait like a week and then I'll get it.
A promo video about QA. This is amazing. And that's what makes this entire thing so hard to look away from. This isn't some tiny indie team that's trying to punch above their own weight. This is a 450-person studio and a game that has been in development for nearly 7 years, founded by one of the most influential figures in modern game design. So where did all that time and money go? How do you end up with this as a product that feels so early, so stitched together with that size of a team? Either this game went through hell behind the scenes or it was designed as a scam from day one. And when 2 C-level executives walk out days before launch, something's been wrong for a long time. I look at this game and I just don't understand why they didn't sell it as an early access title. The concept isn't bad, it's genuinely not. There's some genuinely interesting things here. I like the drone companion and the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, from looking at it, it doesn't look... It's not a bad concept. And I do agree. I do agree in terms of like what was happening behind the scenes because it's just really bad. It's just like the gameplay itself. It just feels really unfinished. Like it's just really unfinished. Like I don't know if someone was like pushing them in terms of like deadlines and shit like that, but it just came out really bad.
Futuristic setting. The bones aren't the problem. You can see there's some ambition underneath this, but the second that you start playing it, it becomes obvious that this game wasn't ready. And even more frustrating is that they practically admitted this themselves. In the official trailer that they put out, they outlined what was basically an early access roadmap. Open world exploration, dynamic events, new features that were going to be coming on down the line.
Yeah. The fact that it's not open world made no fucking sense. Because in the game, according to the game, you can't, like you know how like you're in a place like GTA, you can like explore the world. You basically can't do that in this game. And the fact that it's on a roadmap where it's coming soon is just really stupid to me.
So why not just call it what it was? It feels like You got a team that set out to make a GTA competitor, but you couldn't actually meet the scale or quality. So instead, you just front-loaded a demo, dressed it up as a full release, and then just hope people wouldn't notice until it was too late. At this point, it honestly feels like the only reason that Mindseye launched was because the studio needed players to act as free QA and added funding. They didn't release it because it was finished, they released it because they had no other option. But instead of just being upfront about that, they packaged it like it was a full release, leaned on that Rockstar connection by spreading a rumor that they were the ones trying to take them down, and then hoped that the polish in the first 2 hours would be enough to carry it past the refund window. It's deceptive, sure, but more than anything, it's insulting. This has to stop. We can't keep doing this. Every single time a game comes out like this, it damages the entire ecosystem. Every single time that we see a game that is marketed as a fully finished and polished product, and then it comes out into the market only for us to find out that it is a barely functioning prototype, that damages player trust. It destroys it in most cases, and it has over the years, because AAA publishers have basically done the same thing in some cases.
Yeah, that's true.
People don't trust any of these trailers anymore. They don't even want to buy games on day one anymore. They're waiting. They're waiting for reviews. They're waiting for refunds. They're waiting for patches. They don't want to get burned. From my perspective, Mindseye isn't just a failure. It's just another log on the fire that's burning this industry right now.
And I think at this point, I think I could say that, especially with what's been happening with gaming the past few years, I know everyone remembers that the first reveal of Watch Dogs, like over 10 years ago, and people say it's like one of the most, one of the big lies in the game community in terms of what was promised. But at this point, I think we can say that Watch Dogs is like what was released is nothing compared to like what we've been getting for the past couple of years. Even though Watch Dogs wasn't promised in terms of like the graphics, in terms of certain attributes that you can do in the game, it was still overall it was still a pretty decent game. And I personally still consider Watch Dogs as one of my favorite games of all time. But I feel like now development for games, I feel like I wouldn't say it's ego. I think it's more so as they feel like that, you know, how do I explain it? Maybe it is ego, because I feel like you said, like they're using this guy worked on GTA. They use it as like a strong marketing point to sell this game in a way, and which is fine. But at the same time, you have to deliver a finished product, something that's good, something that players actually want to play, not something where players have to reboot every couple of times because it keeps crashing. So yeah.
It's crazy because this is such a great candidate for early access. That's the one thing that just blows my mind with this. Why wouldn't you have packaged it like that? Because that's obviously what the game essentially is. You want to challenge a titan like Grand Theft Auto, you're going to need some obscene resources to be able to achieve that. You're going to need a lot of money, a lot of time, you're going to need a lot of player feedback. But they didn't go that route. No, they didn't. Instead, they wanted to charge $60, pretend like it was a fully finished game, give you a premium upgrade for $30. Disgusting. We have had so many discussions on this channel talking about indie games, and one of the things that I realized with this is one of the reasons why we give indie games more favorability is because of the fact that those games are largely marketed for what they are, and players know what they're getting into. It's not just the David versus Goliath narrative. We know what those games are. They're not being marketed as anything else. They're not trying to sell players broken promises. They're not trying to hype themselves up more than they need to. No, because they can't afford to. So they just sell it for what it is. And that's what they need to start doing with some of these games.
I agree. That makes sense. I agree.
I mean, look, Outer Worlds is going to be $80. Effectively, a AA game being $80. We'll see how well that one's going to go. Now, speaking of things being what they are,
I'll say this. The fact that Mindseye wasn't like a full price game, it wasn't $70, I kind of want to give him props for that, because if this was a $70 game, I know a lot of people would have been very upset about that. I personally feel like this game should have been like $50 or $40, if I'm being honest.
This game was being sold and likely funded behind the idea that it's CEO is Rockstar North's former president. And we've seen that trend. We've been seeing that trend a lot recently. How many times have you guys seen a game that's been popping up that says, oh, hey, this is made by former X and Y developers or whatever it might be, and they're selling hope that they can do better than the games that they came from. They're selling the idea that they are the ones that made those games what they are. Fact of the matter is, they aren't. I keep seeing these games that are being marketed around former X or Y game developers, and they just keep flopping. Most recently, we saw it with Concord, built by a studio that was made up of former Destiny developers. Immortals of Avium came from former Call of Duty and Dead Space developers. 2K Games Project Ethos, which is coming along. Nobody's actually interested in it. It's a Fortnite clone. That game is also being led and worked on by former Call of Duty developers, and none of these games have landed. Nobody's interested in them. The only real exception that I've seen in recent memory is Embark Studios, which is made up of former Battlefield developers from ICE, who launched The Finals, which is actually an incredible game, and now they have Arc Raiders, which is coming up, and I'm definitely...
Can't wait for fucking Arc Raiders. That's all I could say. I am tired of playing the fucking Division. I'm really tired of playing that game. I cannot wait for that game to come out.
Be excited for that. Now, I think there's a few reasons for this trend, but one of the big ones is how these studios rely on their names of their former games to be able to sell themselves. They use that association to get funding, for sure, but they also use it to build up hype. They lead with that legacy, which then creates this level of expectation that these studios can't actually meet. And 9 times out of 10, these developers are coming from games that have already lost goodwill. That makes things even worse because that player base is looking for somewhere else to go. So what ends up happening is that players who feel let down by these other franchises that these guys are coming from, they see these spin-off studios and they start getting their hopes up. And these studios know that they're getting their hopes up. That's the reason why they use their names and their legacy. It makes the players think, okay, maybe these are the people who left and they're the ones that actually understood what made the game great. Maybe they're the ones that can bring that feeling back. But most of the time it doesn't happen because these guys have set themselves up for failure. Because now they're carrying the weight of an entire franchise without the infrastructure, budget, or the team that was there to support it in the first place. And they're...
So what he's explaining right now, that's what happened with a lot of beloved games that came out over the years. Like, for example, the first Ghost of Tsushima game, one of the best games I ever played, hands down. One of the best games ever made. And mind you, it was, I think majority of the team were white devs, but they worked with Japanese professors and people from Japan. Like I seen the extended videos. Yeah. But yeah, the second game, they removed Jin Sakai. They're doing a new character. Like I said, I have no problem with female characters in video games. I have no problem with that, but you gotta understand what time we're in terms of entertainment. You know, it's the time for, you know, these female bosses that don't need a man. You know, female bosses that think they can do anything better than a man. They could flip a 200-pound guy on his back. They're fucking Mary Sue's, and they're written near perfect with no flaws. So you already know how that's gonna be. And if you search up the team at Sucker Punch now, like, you'll see why I'm kind of worried for that next game, for that next Ghost game. So we'll have to wait and see. But like even Spider-Man, like the first Spider-Man game was critically acclaimed. The second one was just really bad. Like put this in perspective. The first Spider-Man game, when it came back on PS4 back in 2018, that game sold 33 million copies. Spider-Man 2 only sold 11 million copies. I want you to put that in perspective for a second. The first game sold 2/3 more than the sequel. And if you played the story, you know why. I like the gameplay. Obviously, the gameplay was phenomenal. Won't deny it. The story is what killed it, and word of mouth. It killed that game. And already they're restructuring that game. Like, because at the end of the game, they basically made Miles be the quote-unquote main Spider-Man for that universe. But now, I think it was from one of the voice actors there, they're restructuring. They're going back to Peter, which should be, because Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. So
we're expected to now deliver something that's even better than it. Take XDefiant. That game was heavily marketed as being led by former Call of Duty developers, most notably Mark Rubin. That game had a lot of hype behind it.
I would admit there was a lot of hype behind this game. I played it when it launched. I remember the first day when it launched. When it launched, it had pretty decent numbers. It was all right for what it was, but it just could not be. It just couldn't be a Call of Duty competitor, mainly because of Warzone. Warzone Rebirth, that's one of the main reasons why it just could not be a Call of Duty competitor.
Because of what it showed off, but because of who was making it and what it could end up being. A lot of people wanted it to be the Call of Duty killer. That was the constant phrase that was passed around. And yet, that game, when it launched, it was riddled with issues and it failed to meet expectations. A lot of that comes down to the brutal gap between marketing promises and what these teams can actually deliver. The pitch was always a dream, a spiritual successor, a return to form, a game for the fans, but that dream, once it actually gets put into code with all the constraints of a smaller budget, less experienced developers, and a shorter timeline, rarely holds up. And I
think the servers went offline this month, actually, because the game got canceled earlier this year, and they left the servers on until June. So I think the servers are off right now. Yeah, they cut them off.
I think there's a much more practical problem here as well, which is just money. Most of these developers are leaving these massive, fully funded, well-oiled machines to go and join either brand new studios or smaller divisions inside of larger publishers. They go from having hundreds of engineers and specialists to small, scrappy teams that are trying to reinvent the wheel with fewer tools. In Rubin's case, he went from Activision, one of the most aggressively resourced publishers in the entire world, to Ubisoft, which, despite its major name, simply does not have the same financial firepower to be able to throw at a single shooter. Rubin himself has been transparent about this. He admitted that XDefiant's biggest hurdles and the reason why the game failed wasn't because of their vision or ambition, it was their manpower, technical limitations, and lack of marketing muscle. All things that would have never been a problem if he was at Activision. When I look at Mindseye or any of these other games, the pattern becomes pretty clear because none of these guys were ever built to be one-man shows. That guy from Rockstar, Leslie Benzies, he isn't some solo genius that could just will a Grand Theft Auto competitor into existence. He came from one of the most well-funded, well-connected studios in the entire industry. A company that makes one of the most profitable games in the history of the hobby with virtually unlimited resources and the backing of Take-Two Interactive. Strip all that away, and it turns out Prestige doesn't build games, teams do. We've seen this happen over and over again. Talented developers leave a big-name studio, start something new, and they just can't replicate what they were once a part of. Not because they're frauds or incapable, but because game development is creative, collaborative, and incredibly messy. It's like being in a band. You can have a great drummer or a killer guitarist, but the minute that band breaks up, the magic doesn't always carry over to the next one. Sometimes it was the combination of things that made things work. And in game development, there are a very few amount of Dave Grohls that are out there who can walk from one legendary project and then just go build another one from scratch. I think the worst part of this trend is actually the financial side of it because it works against everybody. When somebody like Leslie Benzies starts a studio, it's not just going to be the name that attracts the funding, it's also going to be the pitch. Former Rockstar president making a turn-based fantasy RPG, they're just going to...
The name of the studio is kind of fun. It's not bad, but it's just kind of funny to me, like Build a Rocket Boy. Like, it was like called Build a Rocket. Well, unless maybe that name's probably already taken. That's probably why they called it that. I feel like Build a Rocket would have been better instead of Build a Rocket Boy. It's kind of like... It's kind of weird to me. I don't know. Kind of like when I hear this, I think of like Astro Boy.
Gonna sleep, but former Rockstar president making a Grand Theft Auto competitor, that's not just interesting, that is irresistible. Because if you're an investor and you hear those words in the same sentence, your mind immediately goes to making billions of dollars. Keep in mind, Grand Theft Auto 5 didn't just sell well, it became one of the most profitable pieces of entertainment in history. So when somebody tied to that success says that they want to take a shot at the throne, well, people are going to start lining up to throw money at it. A couple $100 million starts to sound like a reasonable investment if there's a slim chance of being able to pull off something that even lives in the same orbit. But the problem is, and I think we can really see this with Mindseye, is that kind of pitch then locks you into a very narrow outcome. Now that game has to look like a blockbuster. It has to be competitive with one of the biggest franchises in the world, or at least look convincing enough to appear like it could be. That's where the pressure starts to twist the entire development process, because now you've taken hundreds of billions of dollars in funding based on the promise of this being the next GTA or something like it, and there's no walking back from that. You can't pivot, you can't downscope that game. You've already sold the dream, and people backing you aren't expecting a respectable AA hit, they're expecting a cultural phenomenon. That financial pressure, as well as the expectations that they built up over time, doesn't just shape the marketing, it starts to shape the game itself, because now the most important thing to these guys isn't how the game plays or whether or not it's even remotely ready for launch. It's about how it looks. It needs to look expensive. It needs to look next gen. You start chasing spectacle over systems, and graphics take a priority over gameplay. Fidelity takes a priority over function. You're not...
And I feel like that was the issue with the first Watch Dogs game. As much as I love the first Watch Dogs game in terms of story, there was a lot of flaws about it. They said that, hacking was going to be like a priority thing in that game, which it was to a degree. I feel like Watch Dogs 2 did a better job in terms of the hacking and the gameplay. But that was like a priority for that game. Like they lacked, I feel like in Watch Dogs, they lacked some gameplay mechanics and the visuals. And and a lot of people were disappointed about it. It did have a good launch weekend though. Like it had good sales. So, but yeah, that's what I think. That's one of the issues that Watch Dogs faced back when it launched.
Building a game anymore, you're starting to build a trailer, something that you can chop up into 90-second montages that look just convincing enough to pass as a blockbuster in the making. And this is where things really fall apart, especially for a game like Mindseye, because those visual benchmarks eat up massive amounts of time and money. You spend years polishing cityscapes, cinematic lighting, detailed facial rigs, while the mechanics go completely untouched. Core systems get underdeveloped, bugs end up piling up, and gameplay loops remain shallow because nobody has had the time or resources to be able to even try to refine them. The visuals will sell a fantasy, but the game underneath it doesn't actually work, and you're in too deep to be able to even try to fix it. So instead of pulling back and showing where things are actually at, these studios, like with Mindseye, will just double down. They'll withhold gameplay, they'll avoid transparency, they'll rehearse every single preview, carefully select every single asset, and stall on open communication. Because the moment that people start to see the cracks, the entire illusion breaks. And once you understand how these financial pressures, as well as these expectations, start to shape their development, it stops looking like incompetence and it starts looking like an inevitability. These games aren't just broken, they're built on the wrong priorities. Not because the developers didn't care, but because they were never building for the players in the first place. They were building for investors and hoping the rest of it would just sort itself out later. And I think that's the most damning part and likely the cause of most of their issues, because with a lot of these games that we would like to refer to as investor-led, and you guys know exactly what kind of games that I'm talking about, more times than not, they're actually coming from already established studios or publishers, and usually from franchises that are already recognizable to begin with. So they already have a player base to be able to fall back on. They already have some revenue that's likely coming in, and also on top of that, they likely also have a little bit of greatness that's still tucked away, at least in the original concept. But with these new studios, like we see with Mindseye, led by former prestigious developers, they just become a microcosm for the best example of what happens when you're not making a game for the players, and instead the entire project is based around your investors or being able to get funding or whatever else it might be. I mean, I was looking through the history of the company, and they were hiring blockchain guys, and there were some rumblings in the background, a couple of articles that I read where they had talked about how this game and likely another game were meant to be either NFT or crypto games.
So I'll leave it at that, but yeah, really good video from him. Yeah, Mindseye was just a huge flop, man. Now, the question that people are going to ask is, can this game save itself, similar to how Cyberpunk fixed itself? Because Cyberpunk, when it released, it had, I wouldn't say it had issues like this. I will say that it did suffer from crashing all the time. It was unplayable for like the first couple of days when it released. But over the years, CD Projekt, they fixed it, and now Cyberpunk is like, it's a really good game. I feel like the devs, they patched it up really good. Plus, I feel like the anime that they released for it from Studio Trigger really saved the franchise, in my opinion. So overall, Cyberpunk, they came back from their release. This game is going to be really hard because the thing about CD Projekt Red, it's already an established studio. You know, it made games like The Witcher, so it's already a beloved studio. This is a brand new studio that no one, know anything about. All we know is that they have one of the lead people from GTA working there. So it's gonna be really tough. As of right now, I can't say yes. I would say we'll have to wait and see. It all depends on their roadmap. Like if they continue with the roadmap, then maybe they can do some patches and fix the game. If they cancel the roadmap, then this game is dead in the water. So we'll have to wait and see. I do want to bring up some stuff from it. Mindseye. Glitches. Like, let's look at the stuff that. Because I'm telling you, man, it's really bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, some of the stuff in this game is just really bad. There's a video I was seeing when it just showed, like, the stuff. I think this
It's beautiful.
hold on. There was a video, I'm trying to remember what video it was, where it showed all the glitches in the game. Alright, I think this is one of them. What the fuck happened? Like, yeah, see, like, hold on, let me start over. So you guys see. Look. Like, what? Why would you go that way? Like, just look. This game was not finished. Is not a finished game, man. And the NPCs don't even look that good. Like, now I see why people are comparing this to like a 2010 game. Like, it doesn't even look like NPCs don't even look that detailed. And he's doing it again. How is he?
What are you doing here?
Come with me.
Wait, what was that? I don't know if anyone's seen it. What was
Doing
that?
here?
Come with me.
Oh, so that. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, I see what they're talking about. Damn, that's in the game? Shit, that's not good.
Drive like you're playing a video game. Sound fire I'm hearing?
Well, it ain't popcorn.
Just so you guys know, that's not my connection. That's literally like the gameplay you're seeing right now. It's just going really slow. Like, it keeps stuttering like that.
You're about to enter a residential neighborhood. You think Robin Hood may be holed up there?
What do you know?
I just saw him once. He has the same chunk of metal on his neck, and he had a prosthetic arm. He was all tatted up.
Jack Chrissy, what's going on?
Yeah, like, see, I seen this on I've been seeing a lot of videos of this. This is hilarious. Another one. How did he get out the car? What? How did he get out the car? Look at that. Look. Yeah, this game's unfinished.
Back Niner territory. Get there fast. We can't let whoever blew up the factory get to the target before us. We need to get the location of the second hacker from him.
But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be really tough for this game to return. They're gonna have to do a lot of reworking and a lot of patches. Like, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like, just the NPCs alone, just fixing that is gonna take a long time. So, and then like I said, I really wanted this game to be good. I really wanted to get it, but damn. I guess I'll have to wait for the next game I want to get. Actually, the next game on my list to get is probably, Ninja Gaiden and Metal Gear Solid remakes. Those are probably the next two games I'll get. But, yeah. I guess I'll end the stream there. I wanted to talk about those two videos. Well, those three videos that I watched. I didn't get a chance to even draw yet. If I could show what I am currently working on, I could show what I'm currently working on. But yeah, appreciate you guys joining the stream, coming on and chilling for the night with me on a Friday night. I know most of you have lives, going out on Friday nights. I obviously don't have a life. but yeah, pretty fun first stream. Let me show you what I'm currently working on. Let me just wait for this to load up. You guys could see this. Doing a fan art from anime series Danmachi. I'm pretty sure you guys know about it. Just doing a piece drawing all the characters. Here's Bell. The fuck is that? What is that? I need to get rid of that blue line. I need to figure out what layer. Unless it's on. Okay, it's on that layer. All right. It's Bell Cornell. Simple pose of him doing his firebolt. I also drew Hestia. Still need to finish that a little bit. Bell's pretty finished. Hestia, gonna do some work on that. Did Lily, still gotta add some shadows in there. Arahime, I'm still working on this. It's still a work in progress. The face is too serious for me, in my opinion. And I drew this character. I forgot the name of her character. Need to fix her leg and ankle right here. It's too fat. But yeah, this is what I'm currently working on. Next stream I'll draw this. We can talk about some anime and manga that we're currently reading and watching. But yeah, I think I'll end the stream there. Thank you guys for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out my socials in the description below. And appreciate you guys joining me. Have a good night. This is the Wave Blur, and I'm signing out.